I know. I know what you're thinking. Oh my gosh, another person that's gonna talk trash and about Galaxy's Edge, but I kind of want to bring like a more balanced look at Galaxy's Edge. I'm actually someone that does favor and love Galaxy's Edge. So let's talk about that for just a second. I love Galaxy's Edge because I love the ambiance about it. I don't know, when it rains, when it's dark, or in the morning, in the daytime, Galaxy's Edge always looks good. I love the lighting that they do at night. I love just the presence, the ambiance that it gives. I really do. I think it's one of the best things about Galaxy's Edge is that no matter where you're at, it's just always alive. You just feel like you're in the world of Star Wars. And I love that, in my opinion. Like, these buildings feel so worn out and lived in, but the architecture is so Star Wars-esque. Some of it kind of reminds me of the prequels, and then some of it reminds me of just classic Star Wars. And I love it. It's really good in that design language. And so, yeah, for its ambiance and for its design. And I love its design also because of all the great references, like K2SO showing up in Droid Depot, or BB units, or some of the prequel droids as well, like a B-1 battle droid. Or, for example, the Solo speeder that's found in the marketplace. That's another one. Or, I don't know, some helmets that are from the prequels Rogue One, or from the original trilogy. It's cool, okay? I love the little subtle things that they have throughout Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. And then the rides. I mean, Rise of Resistance, when it works, is a really impressive ride. When it's firing on all cylinders, it's this impressive, large, dynamic ride that feels like that it's the culmination of everything in Imagineering all at once, and it's impressive. And the Millennium Falcon ride is also a fun one too, and I'm very grateful they're gonna have like some more updates for that in May, and especially because that means that now we'll actually have a bit more of a better ride. But we'll get into that in just a second too. The characters that we meet, for example, like Rey or Chewbacca, they're always fun to talk to, or the Mandalorian, or Boba Fett, or Ahsoka Tano. It's just cool that you can meet those characters, of course. So yeah, this is what I really truly love about Galaxy's Edge. And now it's time to talk about what I hate. First and foremost, it's the canon placement. I have to talk about this at one point or another, so I might as well talk about it now. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is taking place during The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and it's a weird placement. For a lot of folks out there who don't know, this was actually a deliberate decision, and I'm going to play you the clip.
Because we didn't know all the details just yet.
We had some ideas, just rough ideas that we could put up on the board and start talking about, like a Tatooine.
The team then took their planetary presentation to the man in charge.
At that point, we presented it to Bob Iger, and Bob was like, wow, this is really great stuff, guys, but these new movies are coming out. That's what you need to be doing.
New movies that didn't exist.
Yeah, so pretty shocking to learn that the person in charge saying that Star Wars Land was going to be in the sequel trilogy was Bob Iger. So if you want to blame someone about how Star Wars Land came out to be, he's probably the guy, unfortunately. And it kind of really holds back a lot of Star Wars Land by itself. It shouldn't really, in my opinion, be tied to one Star Wars era. Like Star Tours, for example. It should be allowed to exist in any of it. But that means that any characters could show up, from Obi-Wan Kenobi to Kylo Ren to maybe some of the characters from the High Republic, or Qui-Gon Jinn, for example. It shouldn't just have been set in one particular era. Or maybe, as a potential idea, it could have rotated throughout the eras, but the architecture would have worked for all three. I'm just saying, there was so much potential, and Disney really fumbled on that. Now, to be fair, Disney has been a little bit more lenient on the canon for Galaxy's Edge, as now characters like Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, and the Mandalorian and Boba Fett, specifically from the Book of Boba Fett, have been roaming the areas, but it has to be very particular of where they're at. So we'll see how that still plays out. But still, regardless, it's a land that's stuck in time that can't change, that can't evolve, or can't be flexible for the rest of Star Wars. So, and that is hard to do, but still, I don't know. It was a challenge that I felt like Disney didn't tackle very well. Let's add a slash right here. Let's talk about characters and droids. Batuu, as that's where Galaxy's Edge or Star Wars Land is placed, is considered a outpost for smugglers and traders on the far outer rim. In fact, if we look at the star map, it shows like it's really far out there. It's on the very outer rim, like it's close. So if that's the case, where are these bounty hunters? Where are these traders? Where are these like very shady characters that we should be meeting, right? If that's what it's described, then where are those characters? And there's only one character that's exclusive to Galaxy's Edge, and her name is V Moriarty, as she's part of the Resistance. But that causes a bit of a problem because she's only exclusive. What about the other characters that we're talking about here that is supposed to make this world feel more alive? And in the concept art, it shows that. Oh, might as well add this to my last point. The concept art in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge shows a clear pivot that Disney really lost a lot of money, or they were over budget, so they had to make a lot more compromises. And it shows in the book, along with also in just the development of it, and along with the Disney's behind the Imagineering story. So yeah, which is, by the way, where I got that clip from. So it's crazy. Well, also to add to this, Disney did a Imagineering thing on Khan Academy, which is great. But the problem is that they showed a lot of these droids and characters. So now that means that we were promised a lot more things. Oh, along with a third ride, may I add. So yeah, it just, because that Disney was swelling so big on the budget, they had to cut a lot of things, which kind of talks about what's happening now. Those characters or exclusive characters or droids that we were supposed to meet, yeah, it's behind a $5,000 paywall, which is on the Galactic Star Cruiser, which, if I remember correctly, that's closed. And Jenny Nicholson has this really beautiful part that she emphasizes, is that rather than having these cool characters or droids exclusively in Galaxy's Edge or part of your park ticket, they would rather prefer that you would pay an additional sum of money so that you would experience them behind a paywall, essentially. So definitely check that out from her 4-hour video about the Galactic Star Cruiser. But I'm just saying, like, it's just such a shame of what happened. All these undercuts for Galaxy's Edge made it not feel as interesting or as unique when it first opened, and still even to this day. So Disney's been trying to catch up with that, right? We have a night show, but that's only exclusive in Disneyland, California. Well, there's other characters now, like Luke Skywalker and Ahsoka Tano. But again, that's only in Disneyland. And we are getting a nice retheme or update to the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run in 2026. But, well, I don't know if that one's happening in Walt Disney World. I think it's happening with both. But what's strange is that a lot of these bigger changes are happening at Disneyland first. Oh, well, actually, the roaming droids that we did see are actually available in both parks, which is in Disneyland and in Walt Disney World. But at the same time, it's been like 5 years since Galaxy's Edge is open. I think now it's like 6 years. And so now that means that, well, great that we're making these changes now and these additions, but we shouldn't have had this from the beginning, not later. And like I said, adding more to Disney's paid stuff is the paid experiences. If you really truly want to experience Galaxy's Edge, you should build a lightsaber, build a droid, get some clothing, and get some drinks, all that sort of stuff. But the problem is that the building the lightsaber bit is $250. Building a droid is $130, and those drinks can be mighty expensive. I'm just saying that now Galaxy's Edge doesn't feel like a Star Wars experience. It's like a mall. And like, why would that even be the case? I mean, there's a literal part of it that's just this glorified gift shop showing a bunch of lightsabers that you can purchase, which, by the way, can be cheaper than building your own lightsaber, depending on what Disney does on their exclusives of coupons and such. This is just really unfortunate. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, with all this love and hate, means that I kind of walk in a really interesting path. Because despite all the things I dislike about Galaxy's Edge, and I've even done some of these things, I built a droid, which is, I bought a base BB-8 unit, and then I came back another time and I just bought some extra parts, and that's how I built my droid. I didn't build it at the parks, I kind of built it in my own way. I love my droid, and in fact, it's better than my Sphero droid, which I'll talk about on a different day. And I've also built a lightsaber, and those two things are really rad. But building a lightsaber is not as great as having a NeoPixel lightsaber, because that one's more slimmer and better sounding, and also just a lot more canonically accurate for its way it ignites and swings around, to also its hilt and how it's built. I'm just saying, that's just one of those things. Along with the fact that it just costs a lot of money. Like, it's great that I got to do those things. As a massive Star Wars fan, even though I'm not wearing it here, but I do make a lot of videos about it, those are great experiences that I would recommend to any massive Star Wars fan. But it's also one that I'm like, if you truly feel like you don't need to do it, or maybe save your money for a NeoPixel, do that, truthfully. And with all these things of like what I sometimes don't like, or the missed opportunities that Disney had with Galaxy's Edge, it makes me just have a really weird relationship. Because when I'm there, I just think about these, and I feel them, and I love it. But I still think about those, and it's this weird, like, sort of feeling of, I love this place a lot, but there's still so much it could do, and so much I wish it did. So that's how I overall feel. I hope Galaxy's Edge continues to improve, and hopefully Disney will be able to still capitalize it in a way that is good for Star Wars fans, but also for theme park enjoyers as well. That it's not being priced out. It's still a place that we can still make magic and memories with, without needing to pay another arm and leg. Just saying. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.